Everybody wants to work on big projects, the kind that feel like you're at the next level of your career when it comes to filmmaking. Projects that, they're going to be your big break. And most of the time, we get to thinking that, yeah, I can definitely handle something like this. But sometimes your ambition is actually way bigger than reality. And I think that's where a lot of the real learning happens. As filmmakers, we're always chasing something. Better work, bigger projects, more interesting projects, the dream project, as you would say. We set high expectations for ourselves and try to beat them every single time. And I think that most of us genuinely believe that we can achieve those big milestones. And it's not in an arrogant way, it's more in an optimistic way, I would say. But there was this one project that genuinely humbled me. And that's not because it failed, but because it made me see just how much work goes into actually developing and creating a big next level project that takes you to the next phase in your career, essentially. So the video in question was for a headphones brand, and the idea was pretty simple: stylistic, energetic, fast-paced, and basically feeling like a commercial. Now, what the footage you've seen right now is actually footage from the project itself, and some of the clips you've seen are just from one version of the project, because this project went through so many different changes, so many edits, and so many different directions. I actually shot it about 2 years ago, and I am still learning from it now, which is honestly kind of crazy. And honestly, one of the biggest things that I learned from working on this project is that just because you can't imagine something does not mean that you can always execute it perfectly how you imagined it. Sometimes things need to shift and adjust along the way, which is not the best and not always, I guess, what we would want. But for things to come out the right way, sometimes we need to make small tweaks and small adjustments. But sometimes the vision is not always going to perfectly come out as the reality. So for this project, there were limitations everywhere in terms of time, budget, the locations, gear, lighting, and even just energy working on this project. Some days the plan worked and other days it completely fell apart. And slowly as time passed by, I had to get a little bit of a grasp that, it might not be the exact perfect thing that I was hoping for the final product to be, but I'm still able to get something out that I could say that I would be proud of and I like the result of. And honestly, right now I'm actually trying to do a whole redo of this project. That's why I'm even making this video in the first place, because given the position where I was then and where I am now with my skill set, I think that I'm able to take this project up, just up a notch, because there's so much that I've learned in those 2 3 years since that project was done that now I'm able to do, just a little bit more for this project. But back when I was working on this project, I realized that sometimes you don't always get to have the perfect vision executed. You don't always get the perfect ideas just done one time. And sometimes, like I was saying again, you need to learn to adapt. You need to learn to make changes. You need to learn to figure out what can you sacrifice from the original vision that won't destroy the quality of the final product and you could work with, so that you can move forward and actually give the client something that would be really good and also something that you can be proud of. Sometimes changes and sometimes sacrifices like that need to happen. And when you're in situations like this, it's when you actually grow as a filmmaker, as a director, as a creative person in general, in my opinion at least. I shot this on the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 4K, which honestly, great camera at the time, thinking that you get a raw footage, you can shoot this handheld, you can get everything done. And it's great in concept until you actually get to shooting and you realize how difficult it is to shoot something and you have to get everything handheld, do all the focus handheld, and with limited resources, no gimbal, nothing at the time, everything pure handheld, and even lighting at the time was also very limited, just like 2 panel LED lights. Didn't have any softbox, any of the all equipment and everything that I have right now. This was shot on, this is what you really call budget filmmaking, and just run and gun on the go, straightforward filmmaking. Honestly, the process of this was a little bit stressful, especially getting focus, doing take after take after take. There's no one to focus on this camera. I had a manual lens, at a Mikey 25mm lens, and the process of this is just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But the thing I learned from all that it's actually made me a lot better at focus pulling and doing manual focus, especially in the strenuous conditions with the time limits we had, different locations, trying to shoot like 4 different locations in a day, and you're like 2 days, yeah, 2 days to actually shoot this. We had 2 days to shoot this, and then we're running scenes, there were a lot of scenes moving around, and I think that shooting things like that actually helped me a lot develop my skill focus pulling, especially when I'm doing more faster paced stuff. Right now, I'm able to just get the focus on the go on time. Things like this help you develop when you're in a lot more stressful situations, when you have less resources, rather than starting out with every single thing you need instantly. I think it helps you develop your skill a lot more and a lot better, which projects that push you really help you learn and develop more a lot quicker than projects that are just easy, breezy, just everything done, simple, one take, no stress at all. I know there's someone out there who's probably going through something like this, or who has gone through something like this, or has a big project going up, that it's good to look ahead, think of backup ideas, and even if you consider something as a failure, failed projects or even stressful projects, things like this aren't always a failure. There's things you can learn from, because you don't learn by just everything going smooth sailing all the way. You learn from going through the difficult times and from going through all the stressful and strenuous projects. But yeah, anyways, thanks for watching. I think I made my points. Essentially, I don't want to drag this video on for too long. But if you enjoyed, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe. And yeah, peace.